So I'm a little farther away from the house. Actually, this dirt road right here keeps going along the river. The river's back behind me where all the bears are. And this dirt road comes out on, I guess it can be called a highway. It's the road to Tofino, British Columbia. It's just right over there through the timber over there at about 600 yards maybe. So you might hear some background traffic. And for the curious, you might want to Google up all the sightings crossing this road right here. It's off the chart. Kennedy Lake, Ucluelet, Tofino. It's non-stop right here. And of course, Kennedy Lake, jump across this highway and you go straight through to Mint Lake. It's that lake that I told you about from my childhood, and I flew the drone over there a week ago. So basically right in the heart of it here, potentially. Not that Anyways, thought I'd make that point out. If you hear some traffic, that's the road that you're listening to right that way, 600 yards. And that way is to Tofino. That way is to Port Alberni. That way is to North Island. And that way's home. Now, let's see who needs to be heard before I go on my road trip. This is titled Fishing Buddy. Oh, that'll get my attention. Hi Steve, my name is Jim. I got a short experience to share. In the early and mid-'80s, I would spend a lot of time with my grandparents who had a cabin overlooking Lake James and the mountains of North Carolina. I'd help out around the cabin mowing grass, chopping wood, and helping in the garden. It was about a 300-yard walk through the woods to the lake. I caught a lot of fish, 5 to 6 pound largemouth and smallmouth, but grandma-like catfish. So I'd spend evenings and sometimes all night catching catfish, and there were no houses within a couple miles of my grandparents. Several times I had the feeling I was not alone, like I was being watched. The first odd thing was I had walked up the bank maybe 30 yards to throw a bass plug across a point where I'd heard a fish chasing bait. When I came back, my stringer with 3 nice catfish was gone. First I thought maybe I didn't get it in the ground good, but while shining my flashlight around, I found footprints. I was a good size 16-year-old and wore a size 13 shoes. Those barefoot tracks were just a little bit bigger. On my way back up the trail to the cabin, I found my stringer hanging in a tree over the trail. I didn't say anything to my grandparents, just said nothing was hitting. 2 nights later, I was back at my spot, had a couple nice ones on the stringer, when the feeling of not being alone hit me like a ton of bricks. For some reason, I wasn't scared. I shined my flashlight around, didn't see anything, but I heard something walking in the woods. I had a small fire going, it was lighting up the clearing pretty good. As I was getting back to fishing, a small rock hit the water right where the stringer was. In my head, it seemed like I heard the word, food hungry. I shook it off. A couple minutes later, another pebble hit the water. Same feeling in my head, food, hungry. So, being a teenager, I got a bit of a crazy idea. I took the fish out of the water and walked about 10 feet up into the woods and laid it down. I went back to my chair and sat down. I could hear the fish flop from time to time. I heard something moving in the woods and the fish stopped. Sure enough, the next day my stringer was hanging in the tree again. I fished several more times, nothing odd. But 2 weeks later, my fishing buddy was back. After a couple pebbles hit the water at the stringer, I had it hung on a limb at the edge of the woods. About 10 minutes later, I heard a big limb break. The one with the fish was gone. I started taking 2 stringers just in case. I finally got to see him the week before school started back, only for maybe 5 seconds. Around 7 feet tall, shaggy, reddish brown hair. This went on a couple summers. I finally broke down and told my grandpa. He just smiled and said he'd figured that's what I was doing with the fish. I was stunned. The next time I went fishing with my grandpa, he gave me a bag of vegetables out of his garden. He told me to leave them with the fish. Grandpa said he saw him a couple times over the years. My grandparents passed away. My aunt sold the land to a logging company. I'm 56 now. Never got to go back. Thank you for the work you're doing, Steve. Keep it up. Oh, and I almost forgot. Here's some periods and commas in case I missed any. LOL. And he put down 5 commas and 5 periods in a row. Thanks, buddy. It's so helpful. Keep fishing and hunting, buddy. All right, man, thanks. You just made me laugh. Good one. Maybe I'll put them in my pocket for later for somebody else, because your email didn't miss much. When you look over and see something jet black through the green moss. Whatever. If it is. I don't give a shit. Alright. Hi, Steve. Thank you for everything you do. This platform has been a source for great hope and security, providing a platform that allows everyone affected to share and vocalize through you their experiences, unique to them, and the reactions they then receive from those they thought they could trust / be at ease with. You're providing a space for healing, a space for being heard and recognized, a space for allowing people to come to terms that they are not mad / crazy after all. Finally, a space where we can all gain knowledge that seems to be forbidden to us common folk. Whether you get to share this or not is not important to me. Should you think it worthy of sharing, then that's okay too. I sent to you a while back my encounter with the predator-type camouflage / cloaked being who essentially intercepted my group in Angola. The second incident you shared online. It's the first incident that has been difficult to let go of, mainly because of what happened and what followed thereafter. The chocolate Bar 1 / Mars bar having gone missing from the two of us, and much later. My soap bar that I had taken into the shower with me, all these occurrences are apparently linked. The Angolan insurgent swamp incident apparently happened because I had been tagged from the earlier incident. Predator cloaking situation. Yeah, I remember that frickin' story, man, and that was a real eye popper, for sure. I've been told this by 3 different Sangamas. Sangama, Zulu spiritual healer. Needless to say, this has had a tremendous impact on my life, and I cannot even start comparing my experiences to some of the experiences you have read out. All I can say for sure, these events, these experiences are all unique in their own individual way. According to them, the Sangamas I have consulted, these beings can / may imprint you. That is, mark you and track you down, regardless of where you go or where you may be at any time, if they are so inclined. My experiences seem to coincide with this theory. We all apparently emit unique signatures. And based on their explanation in my scientific brain, it sounds like we all have a unique vibration that we emit to the environment around us and the environment to us. The result is what we scientifically term as resonance. Could this be something they use? Being a scientifically minded individual, medical background, there was a time that I considered all this a little fetched. That is, until I started to research what had happened to me in Angola while in the military and at times when I'm in the bush. Angola, South Africa, Portugal, Spain, America, England, etc. I feel this mainly but not exclusively when alone and in some type of bush / jungle / forest. This affected me to the point where I went from being a GP in clinical medicine to looking at and furthering my medical knowledge by adapting homeopathic medicine, studying and doing research on vibrations and frequency. All pathology has a frequency. All living matter has a vibration, especially in water, or when touch / coming into contact with water. Water has a memory. Water has a personality. Water has amazing properties, unique and perplexing. Both the areas I was in Angola, when those events occurred, took place in waterlogged environments, all surrounded by various deposits of different qualities of granite rock and a lot of water. Humidity back then was always 98% and above. Anyway, I did also include my experiences with a portal that I took a picture of as it was closing. I sent this to you too. I'm not sure if you received or looked at these yet. There is definitely a connection somehow between these beings and these common points. Whatever happens in the woodlands with these beings, I believe, shares a linear correlation with granite, hills, mountain terrain, water, and our awareness of our immediate environment. This being their preferred terrain, but not only. They'll also venture into urban surroundings. When doing so, I believe they are tracking someone or something. My personal belief, this being a very broad brushstroke in belief, Sabe is a type of protector of man. They protect us from other things that lurk in the woods / around us, especially if we've been tagged by them. They're not perfect, and I would even go as far as saying that perhaps they sometimes become tired of protecting the idiot man, roaming in the woods, oblivious of what lies in wait in these isolated places. They may have a certain curiosity for us, but I believe they also have a certain dislike for us too, perhaps because they probably have had to deal with consequences relating to us. I know this is all conjecture, but it's what I have been able to come to terms with in my experiences, and through those, I get to hear you share with us. Anyway, on a more scientific note, according to the International Standard ISO 2631, in the vertical vibration of the human body, the sensitive range is locked in 6 Hz to 8 Hz. This standard has been used to assess the effect of environmental vibration on operators' health, efficiency, and comfort since 1974. This is an actual standard. Everything organic, everything alive has a vibration in order to exist. At this point, it's important to understand the difference between vibration and resonance. Essentially, objects that are free to vibrate have their natural frequencies in which they vibrate when they left for a duration of time. Resonance, on the other hand, occurs when objects are forced to vibrate at their natural frequency. Resonance is the result of an external force vibrating at the same frequency as the natural frequency of a system / an environment. An everyday example of this is a manufacturing plant. Resonance occurs when a forcing function excites a machine's natural frequency, causing an excess in vibration. These excessive vibrations will cause additional stress on the machine, resulting in poor reliability, premature failure, and greater cost and maintenance of parts. Another example of resonance would be that of Sabe swaying from side to side, as we often hear from various people who have witnessed this firsthand. It's as if they were channeling something. Another example, when we turn the knob of the radio to our favorite channel, we're changing the natural frequency of the receiver. The natural frequency of the receiver then matches the transmission frequency of the radio station. When the two frequencies match, energy transfer occurs, and we listen to the selected channel. If we do not have this receiver, we're totally ignorant of the thousands of radio waves bouncing off of us. Could these beings be using a similar method of frequency manipulation so as to move faster, paralyze those they choose to, and disappear / become cloaked / travel somewhere else? Frequency manipulation / management / changing the natural frequency to the receiver, call it what you want. I know that molecules absorb wavelengths, and in so doing, begin to vibrate. At certain frequencies, this may cause cooking and heating up of food, like in a microwave oven. Playing music will create vibration to objects receiving the music. The higher the volume, amplitude, the greater vibration being experienced. We often hear people talking about and hearing screams and how their body vibrates and / feels this vibration. Even when the source of the sound is at some distance from themselves, sound at 20 to 200 hertz, as Hz, is called low frequency sound. Infrasound, in its popular definition, is the sound below a frequency of 20 Hz. At high volumes, infrasound can directly affect the human central nervous system, causing disorientation, anxiety, panic, bowel spasms, nausea, vomiting, and eventually organ rupture or even death from prolonged exposure. That's creepier than shit. Our brain learns and expresses fear at all certain brainwave frequency, and changing the frequency can change the feeling. These beings know how to transmit this to us. Researchers found that the brainwave frequency of fear is 4 cycles per second, or 4 hertz. So, infrasound can be used to create fear. Infrasound can be used to kill. Back in my days in the military, our highest security areas didn't have a single human being anywhere near it. Instead, Every possible approach to an installation was guarded with infrasound, long-range acoustic devices. We called them LRAD. These waves were faced in the direction/path required to gain entry into these installations. Doppler was set up underground to identify any form of intrusion on that path. Vibration detection. Earplugs and earmuffs can provide 15 to 45 dB SPL of attenuation, although annoyance and distraction has still been shown to occur. I know for a fact that one of the LRAD 200X models were effective for distances up to 5,500 meters. That's 5.5 kilometers or 3.4 miles. This is back in the late 80s. What do they use now? 3 decades later. Yeah, no shit, right? Acoustic and electromagnetic waves arise from mechanical vibrations of matter or the change in motion of charged particles, respectively, resulting in the transfer of energy. These two types of waves, while fundamentally different, oscillate at varying frequencies, measured in cycles per second or hertz. Audio vestibular dysfunction following exposure to both acoustic and electromagnetic waves have been described as early as the 1910s and has since been noted in all sectors, including medicine, industry, and military. Understanding the amount of energy that can be transmitted across the media, such as an air to human skin, has been well studied and documented, but also kept from the open public due to the possible legal cases that could be brought into light. Researchers began investigating auditory and non-auditory effects on infrasound exposure back in the 1960s. It was found that weak infrasound could affect the balance or equilibrium mechanism in the ear, produce fatigue, induce nausea, etc. Attributes found in modern-day city fatigue to infrasound. It was even found that infrasound was certainly one of the many causes of allergies, nervous breakdowns, and other unpleasant phenomena of modern life found in industrial cities. I personally treated individuals who had nervous breakdowns due to their exposure to working daily in environments that had low vibration machinery. There's so many studies available, it's crazy. Finally, I must end here. I fear I've gone too long already. The neurobehavioral effects of high-intensity audible sound also have been used as a tool for crowd control, but I'll stop here. So, this covers a small point on top of the iceberg I'm going to call sound. But sound waves fall into 3 main categories: longitudinal waves, mechanical waves, and pressure waves. I'll leave it at that. You can see just how much we don't understand / provide this knowledge to the public. Then there's the other spectrum, electromagnetic waves or EM waves. These are waves that are created as a result of vibrations between an electrical field and a magnetic field. EM waves are composed of oscillating magnetic and electric fields. Examples of EM waves are light, microwaves, infrared, X-rays, ultraviolet rays, radio, etc. The properties of electromagnetic waves are fundamentally distinct from sound waves in many ways. While sound waves are mechanical vibrations that propagate through matter and carry energy, electromagnetism does not require a medium and can travel through a vacuum where sound cannot. Electromagnetism is described as being both waves and photon particles, the wave-particle duality of quantum mechanics. However, like sound waves, electromagnetic waves have an oscillating frequency and can be depicted along a spectrum beginning with radio waves at the lower end of gamma rays and with radio waves at the lower end and gamma rays at the upper end. Indeed, acoustic and electromagnetic waves are related. Researchers have discovered that it is possible to transduce energy from sound waves into electromagnetic waves. Electromagnetic waves have also found to have auditory precepts on animals and humans. I won't even try to go down this windy road, but I can recommend the following links for anyone who is curious enough to better understand, with caution, the military applications to these. Alright, there's a bunch of links. Hopefully I remember to add them in for the curious. Once again, Steve, thank you for your time, thank you for your assistance, and thank you for this platform. My best wishes for you and all those you hold dear to your heart. Be careful out there, please. George. Thanks, man. Absolutely appreciate your time and your effort. That's a hell of a big email and a lot of frickin' interesting information. And I fully agree with the vibrations we give off, without a doubt, right? And then whatever it is, however it's considered, is what we pick up on it with our intuition, our sixth sense, which is probably just my uneducated way of explaining and adding in what I might feel possible into this topic. God, I'm babbling now, aren't I? I got a few things taking my attention right now. While I was reading, I was receiving texts that are important to me. One being a game warden has to come over and meet me at the house right quick because a young yearling deer had basically just flopped over dead in the yard. Don't know why, what's going on. Apparently there's a disease wiping out a bunch of deer near the cities on Vancouver Island right now, so they have interest in it. I gotta get home right now and meet him there and get rid of it. Get it in. I guess they need to test the brain tissue or something. But anyway, back to you, my man. Could you please do at least me a favor? And could you keep sharing your knowledge here with me? At least, just if not everybody else, all right? You are the people we're after, all right? You people with a lot of knowledge that your average person just doesn't have. I find it very interesting, very useful, very helpful, and I am absolutely curious, all right? I want to win this war by obtaining and sharing knowledge. That's the only way. It's the only way. We've got to win the war by utilizing true knowledge and sharing it and getting it to that next generation too, right? That's how you win. So I'm going to come back out here somewhere and make a share before I leave. Before tonight, I think. Kind of caught up. I know this bear's frequent right behind me. I wasn't even watching. Bear could have went by behind me. I don't know. I thought I saw something black up there in the timber. Bad timing, I guess, reading emails and standing in the big forest, right? Above a salmon river. But anyway, I hope all the people are benefiting from the shares today. I'd imagine there are a shit pile of you out there who are non-stop taking in all the information you can, and you're learning as much as you can to get those missing pieces into your puzzle, without a doubt. And then there's the other handful of people here just for pure entertainment, which is kind of whatever is what it is. Although this channel is not for entertainment purposes. All right, it's not about entertainment. It's about getting the people honestly informed again, and doing as much as we can to fight back in the suppression of truth and honesty, right? From the dirty bastard pricks. Okay, I'm out of here. Talk shortly.